Hello everyone, I am Tacet and welcome to the Gems of War Invasions Week 8 Day 1. So today we have a lot of battles to go to because of course it's the beginning of the week. We have a very ridiculously easy invasion. The guy that just tears all their armor, all it does is one shot every single time. It's pretty overpowered in the game mode. And it's so good that even outside the game mode, it's not horrible. I wouldn't really advise using it much, but if you didn't have too many other options, it definitely would be usable. They did end up increasing the mana cost slightly compared to before, though. It was supposed to release with 12 mana costs, but they increased it to 13. Other than that, yeah, we have quite a few things happening this week. We have the pet on Wednesday, which is going to be for Yellow Guild War, or, you know, the one that gives a armor bonus when you have 4 yellow on your team. Thursday will be the class event, which will end up giving us the Archer class. Well, we already have Archer class, but, you know, you'll be able to level it more if you want. It's not really worth going for, though. It's not a weak class. It's definitely above the average. It's just not something you would really use too often. It's really well-rounded. It summons a lot. It has good skull. It has half mana start. That's basically everything you would need from a hero class. It just doesn't really excel at any one thing other than summoning. And on Friday, we have 2 things coming. We are going to be having a new mythic coming out, which is going to be a true damage exploder, which is kind of cool. It doesn't always explode, only if it gets a kill. It's also going to have web all enemies, which is going to be ridiculously powerful against quite a few things, since it would be able to reduce their magic to 0, and it'll also prevent them from gaining additional magic. But other than that, we also have the Treasure Gnome event this weekend. So from Friday until Monday reset, until the Friday morning thing, switch over until Monday reset. We will have the Treasure Gnome event, so for those 3 days, so basically the entirety of the weekend, and you'll be able to gain a lot more resources from doing just about everything while doing that. And other than that, there's one other thing. Oh yes, Ubestedt is in the Soulforge. This is the first time he's been in the Soulforge since he was released about 2 months ago. He is among one of the best troops in the game, around 2nd or 3rd best or so. And yeah, definitely worth crafting if you don't already have one. I didn't bother crafting another. I feel like I would never actually use double Ubestedt. And if he ever did become really meta to use in the future, double Ubestedt, we could easily just craft one later on. He's in the drop table about every 5 weeks or so, yeah, he'll be around again. It's not like this is the only time he's ever going to be in the Soulforge. Other than that, Wardbreaker's also really nice. Used in Dragon teams. Tied at the highest mana cost in the game, but it explodes a lot and does a lot of damage. And it's really good on Dragon teams, particularly with Dragon Soul, which was available last week, if you happen to have picked it up or if you already had one. But anyways, that's pretty much everything in regard to that. Quite a few things. Other than that, I guess we'll just go into Invasion. Before we do, though, one other thing. We did end up getting our first mythic pet the other day, for any of you that didn't see, and we actually have another one right here. We're going to have a lot of mythic pets coming in soon, because a lot of them are, like, right on top of becoming mythic. But here we go, our second mythic pet, the second one that was done with no gems, and more to come. So there we go. Just go and max this guy out, and boom, max pet. On to the next one. But yeah, that gives us a Donna bonus now, 3 times the Donna bonus. That is near useless because Adana has a weird mix of humans and mechs, which basically never makes it viable to ever use. But anyways, let me go over to mail. Let's go and check it over to these 2 things over here. So, we have the event reward and the little bit of gems from this, so let's go claim that. And this was from the Invasions, if I'm not mistaken. We end up getting this orb, and hopefully... Come on, we've been getting so many green and orange. Let's see a blue or purple, particularly a blue. Hey, that's exactly what we wanted. That broke our unlucky streak. Unfortunately, I wish it would have been on a major orb. That would have been a lot more convenient, but I'll take a smaller one. Smaller one's definitely nice. Any blue orb is definitely nice. And there we go. Okay. Well, let's go do some invasion. Speaking of that, let's go for another orb, because if I'm not mistaken, we actually have one just laying there. And of course, I'll be using all my vault keys this Friday. We actually have 6 of them to use, unless we get any more before then. But we'll have at least 6 to use this Friday, so that'll be nice. Anyways, let's go collect all this, and yet another orb. Hopefully another pretty lucky one, blue or purple. Ah, the dreaded green. Unfortunate, but we did just use up all of our luck on the blue one, I guess. Anyways, let's keep going. We're on stage 8, pretty much done with stage 8, actually. We'll have 10 or more of these battles. Not sure if we'll do all of them specifically on this stream, but as you guys know, this is the team I'm using. If you don't have 2 roots, you just replace one of them with a dryad and do it simple like this. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Basically go and get your mana up immediately, and then just keep one-shotting them with Old Man Okru. That's basically as straightforward as that. Also, let me go and change up my hero. If I'm not mistaken, I'm currently using +1 purple. In this particular instance, on this particular hero class, I would be better off using the enchant when we take green, So we'll do that, and good to go. Okay, so let's get into it then. So we have Dispel on the Wisp to get rid of any barrier and enchant, and any other positive stats effects. Mountain Crusher as our mana generator, and Old Man Roots to just absolutely decimate everything. We don't even need Mang this week, because he is our Mang. Also, hello everyone! Hello Ziplam, hello Enoch, hello Zeddicus, hello Marcelo, hello M78, hello Zero, hello Jesse, and hello everyone else. Let's see. You're number 2 on Invasion leaderboard? Very nice. Yeah, I'm going to be trying for PvP leaderboard this week. I haven't gotten that far with it, obviously, at the moment. But I'm definitely going for it this week. It's going to take about 36,000 points, I believe, somewhere around there. So we're going to slowly be reaching towards that this week. Only problem is Invasion is going to get in the way of it some, but probably by the time Friday hits, I'm not even going to bother with Invasion anymore. We would have done enough battles that that our guild should be able to do the rest, I would hope. Because we would already have done like 30,000 points or something. Or not 30,000 points, but you know, we'd be like the top 5 of the guilds by the time we use up all these battles. Because I don't think too many of them bother to spend 850 gems. Normally they don't. Obviously not everyone can afford to keep throwing 850 gems down. They might not have it spared. Because you have to keep in mind, we get a lot of gems off of our tributes that some people in the guild might not be getting. Mainly because tributes, the more multiple tributes you have going at once, the more basically free resources you end up getting from that. What's pretty cool about Wisp is even when we can't even do damage with the charm of it, we can still use it to get rid of things like barrier. So it's still like getting a free hit out of nowhere, which is kind of cool and saves a lot of time. Yeah, Invasion is super quick. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually do finish all these battles this time around, just because it is really straightforward this week. And I'm still using Bard. At this point, I think I'm just going to be maxing Bard. And then going from there, because we're already so close and we kind of need it for what we're using, so we might as well finish it out using Bard and then switch to some kind of other hero class later on. Doesn't really matter too much what our hero class is here. It's just we're pretty much already done with it, so might as well do it to its completion. It'll feel weird if I leave it at like 95 or something without going all the way to 100. Speaking of that, I might even go finish out Sorcerer soon, because Sorcerer is right at 90, and I believe the event for Sorcerer is actually next week, if I'm not mistaken. So I'd have to do that anyways. I don't have to like really rush it, but because we have all the way until next week's Thursday. But I still want to make sure I have it level 100 by then, but that's going to be pretty easy to do. Okay, anyways, let's throw a little poke down, and that'll be that. Hello, Demon Angel. Hello, Kavera. Hello, Osman. Hello, Sean. 24 for August, New Kingdom. The next legendary is okay next week. Oh wait, is there a new legend next week? I didn't even check that. Wait, spoiler thread. What do you guys have here? Was the New Kingdom actually announced? Because I believe we need a new patch before then. And they said beta would be mid-August, so that means they're really pushing out the update really close after that, if that is the case. I don't see any signs of New Kingdom yet. Where did you see the August 24th for that? Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything on that yet. From what I can see. It does not look like a New Kingdom is coming in. Unless I'm missing something. It doesn't look like it. But, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Oh, what's next week's legend? 1 second. Let's see. Next week's legend is... Oh, yeah, there is a legend in next week's event drop table. You are correct. Let's see. The drop table's not really too good for that kingdom, though. It's Karkaroth, so there's almost nothing in that kingdom. But it deals magic... It's a human mystic. It deals magic +1 damage to all enemies. Enchant all ally daemons and barrier all ally mystics. That could have potential with a Dragon Soul Mystic team. Oh wait, never mind. She's the same color as Dragon Soul. Ignore what I just said. But that could have potential with an all daemon team. She's not a daemon herself, but the rest of your team could be. And you would get enchant for everything. And then you gain barrier to all the mystics. Or then again, maybe that wouldn't be too good. Because if you compare that to something like Divine Ishbala, she already does 2 enchants. It's random what those enchants go on to, though, is the thing. And you could potentially get 1 more enchant out of this. And what's this unique thing? All mystics gain 1 magic on 4x/5x gem matches. That could be pretty potentially good as well. Stack up a lot of magic that way. Last I recall, there aren't too many good mystics, though. Well, for one, we can't really use Dragon Soul because it's the same coloration, which is going to be awful. Because generally, if you want to run Mystics, you're going to want to be running a Dragon Soul-oriented Mystic team. Let me double check that real quick. I don't believe there's enough good Mystics for her to be viable, though. Not to mention they would have to be Mystic Daemons, which I think almost doesn't even exist. But here are all the Mystics. So useless, or as far as with extra magic, I'm going to be saying if they're good or useless. But useless, 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 useless. Good but no magic, good but no magic, good but no magic. Azura would be good. So you would use Azura as one of them. Situational, useless, useless, useless. Useless normally, useless, doesn't gain magic, useless. Useless, useless. Probably use this one because it's a Daemon as well. Throw a Famine in there. It doesn't gain as much of a benefit from magic, though, but... so basically our team right now is some kind of weird Azura into Famine spam. Oh yeah, there's a hero class that counts as Mystic too. It's the Orb Weaver, if I'm not mistaken, counts as Mystic. Wait, was it Elf or Mystic? I actually forget now. But I believe it was Mystic, if I'm not mistaken. Which means Orb Weaver might finally have a purpose. We'll have to see. It's kind of weird because the hero class itself doesn't count as one. The hero class from this kingdom counts as Daemon, which would only give it a enchant. Well, I guess that's fine. Mystics would gain the barrier. Daemons would gain the enchant. Ideally, they'd be both low, obviously. But there aren't too many that are both. Let's see, if I actually type that in, does it actually bring up both? Wait, hold up. If I type in... I forget if the game can do it itself. But let me go type in... Get rid of this. Clear filter. And type in Daemon Mystic. I either spelled something wrong or... That doesn't work. Let's see. Daemon Mystic. Where was the one I was just looking at? Did I spell Mystic correctly? Let's see. Where's Famine? There's ways to search it for externally. Just trying to see if it's actually possible in the game itself. So Daemon's definitely bringing it up. And then Mystic. M-Y-S-Tick. And yeah, we spelled it correctly. That is definitely spelled correctly. Mystic. And it doesn't bring it up. Okay, never mind. Scratch that plan. I'll search it later. But there aren't too many, I know that. And the ones that are probably aren't worth using with the extra bonus they would get. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to be anything too over the top for the most part. But you never know. Biggest confliction it has is it can't be used with Dragon Soul. Which is what almost all Mystic teams are built around right now, is Dragon Soul plus Famine. If you were to bother building a 4x Mystic team. Okay, why am I taking this one first? I guess it doesn't matter too much. It might give us a brown here that we can take. Yeah, actually does. Perfect. So we'll grab that. Should have taken the red first, though, just to get some of its mana back. This is not too big a deal, but still. I want to try getting the last of our explosion. Would be great. We can actually do that in 2 turns. Oh, wait. Oh, or I could have just taken that, but oh well. We'll do that. Throw a poke down. Just throw it on that guy. And we get ourselves a green storm. You get full mana. Hopefully get Archer turn off the greens. Apparently not. And constantly, just constantly getting enchant back on it, since we have the greens kind of assisting us here. So every single time we take a green, we end up getting enchant on that, which is quite helpful. Especially since we had that storm constantly helping us there. So we get that enchant, go throw another hit, get our double kill, and that would be that. Also, has anyone reached a point where he doesn't one-shot anymore? It seems like with his armor tier, he will almost always be able to one-shot. There will be a point where I guess he won't, but that would be like very, very ridiculously far in the invasions. I don't even think we'll reach the point where he gets there. Yeah, Bard is Wild Folk. Which makes sense because almost the entirety of the kingdom is that type. Some of them don't really make sense though. Because there aren't really there are some kingdoms that don't really have a proper type focus. And in some cases the hero class is even matching to the type focus. Like there's barely any mystics in Zolkari. And there's barely any elves in Forest of Thorns. Despite the hero class being that type for both of them. Or, you know, the respective type. Alright, we'll throw that down. Go to the next one. For a little jab at it. Take it out. And then we just have to deal with the little enchant guy. Isn't he Wild Folk Mystic? Wait, who do you mean? The King Selenus? I believe King Selenus is. I forget. No hero class is double typed, though. That'd be kind of cool if they were. Or, well, technically not double typed. They count as a kingdom, and they count as a troop type, but they don't count as 2 different troop types. They count as hero / whatever their troop type is. Technically, I guess they do have a second troop type. It's called hero. Though there's currently nothing that does additional damage to hero. or anything like that. That'd be kind of cool if they did, because heroes are pretty powerful right now. They didn't in the past add a hero counter because there was no need to add a hero counter because hero was useless. And if they added a hero counter to it, it would be even more useless. But heroes are good enough these days that they could justify actually adding a counter to it now, which might be why it has that typing. Yeah, it'd be cool if they gave some kind of benefit or some kind of negative effects that could come in through that. Like something that could do extra damage to it or something. Or even just like a specific troop that specifically buffs your hero. Because heroes used in almost everything these days, so adding a troop specifically that just helps your one troop being your hero wouldn't be too bad as long as it did something okay. You thought the level 100 trait gave him magic? No. It works for mystics, but he's not a mystic. None of his traits are useful on Bard. Every single one of his... It's why I was saying it was useless to get him to level 100. Not a single one of his perks are even useful at all. There's 3 things that it can do. It gives all Urskas 1 attack per turn, which is actually the best one he has of these 3, though there's no Urskas in the entirety of the kingdom, and you would very rarely bother using this hero class with it. Maybe if they ever added a lot more yellow Urskas to the game, that could be applicable, but at the current moment in time, you would never bother with that. Next is give all mystics 2 magic and life when an enemy dies, but this hero class doesn't count as mystic, so it would only give it to other allies that have it, and there's not a single good mystic really within this kingdom for the most part. And not to mention that bonus is pretty trivial. It's only 2 magic, 2 life, and it's only when you get a kill. So you're very, very rarely getting it. In most battles, you can only get a maximum of about 3 of those instances. And other than that, it gives all constructs 10 life, and there's not a single construct within this kingdom, nor does the hero count as it. And just all 3 of these are just abysmally bad. That's a problem with a lot of final traits on quite a few hero classes. They just don't synergize with what the hero is at all, and they just do nothing. Hello, Pinkerchin. Hello, McCoy. Hello, Colin. Hello, Analyst. Welcome. Also, hello, Alanso. Welcome, welcome. Let me backtrack a little bit. Any update on the PvP update, or is it still on the way? It's still on the way. They mentioned that it was going to be the last or second to last update of the year, if they're going to push it out this year. They didn't even 100% confirm if they'll push it out this year, though that is their goal, of course, to push it out this year. But, yeah, it's still going to be a while, is the bottom line. Last or second to last update of the year, which means likely either sometime in September or sometime like right in mid-December. One of those 2 times is likely when it would come out, if it was to come out this year. If it doesn't come out this year, it's probably going to come out like ridiculously early next year, like end to mid-January, somewhere around there. Okay, we'll grab those reds. Yeah, I'm kind of curious what they actually do to PvP. I think they're finally going to be fixing the defense system in PvP that has been broken since day 1 of this game. And let's kill that up. You put a plague in last slot instead with the team that we're currently using? Are you referring to? Or are you referring to something else? Oh, are you talking about a 4 times Mystic team? I forget if that actually is a Mystic or not. Yes, there's a new Mythic this Friday. It's going to be a troop, 20 mana cost. It hits the last 2 enemies with true damage. And if it gets a kill, it does 15 explosions. It also webs all enemies every single cast. Also, how on earth did you already get a kill? What are you doing? I gotta be careful. If this thing actually dies, we lose. Well then, I gotta be a little bit more careful. I keep forgetting we don't have really good reductions. Let me go take that out just so we have one less thing to deal with. Oh, that could actually be a bit of a problem now. Because if we lose those first 2, we're dead. We are very, very dead. Maybe I put my Wisp in 2nd slot and just kind of use it as a meat shield so that this other guy doesn't die to skulls or something. We'll see. We'll move that over. As long as we don't give him any skulls here. Like, I don't want to give him that skull that's just sitting there. Plus, we get a kill out of it anyways. He's going to get hit on that. It's not enough to kill, though. Oh, but the 2 of them might be. Okay, never mind. That's not enough damage. That's fine. At least for now, it's fine. So we can move that down. Get all that cascaded. 1 mana short. Am I really going to do this for 1 mana? No. That'd be a waste of a Mountain Crusher. We're going to go and... Oh, no, it won't be. Because I need to get rid of his barrier. So we'll do that. Get rid of his barrier off of it. And then we just kill him and Wisp into the 1-shot. Just in case we need it, let me go Gravity Enchant. And I believe that is enough damage. Well, only one way to find out. Let's just go poke him with it. And never mind, that's way more than enough damage now. And there we go. And we get 2 more sigils from it. Is it going to be worth getting the Mythic this Friday? It's not going to be used for invading much. Though it's going to kind of be like a famine, in that it's going to be an insanely good defense troop. It's going to be the most anti-magic troop in the entire game, once they add it. There isn't anything better at countering magic than it once it comes in. Yeah, it does have a lot of potential. It's just not really going to be used for invading purposes because it's going to be way, way, way ridiculously too slow. Oh, I should have threw a Wisp first. We could have actually gotten a kill there. You know what? I'm going to waste all that damage just to kill it right there. I think it's worth it. So I'll grab that, get our enchant, go for a shuffle, hopefully get something good out of it. Should have alignment, hopefully. A little bit of alignment, enough to get it cast off, so that's the main thing we need. And we could try for a skull there. I guess we'll just go for double cast. And we did indeed get a skull, not the extra turn one I was hoping for though, but same difference. Throw that down, throw another one down, and that is that. I answered almost every question you guys gave. What question did I not answer? Let's see. I answered like 20 questions already. No, maybe not that many. Like 10. Let's see. On your divine team, who can you replace the hero with since you have crafted Ubistet today? What do you mean, replace the hero with? You would replace it with Mercy. And normally that's not the one you replace out. You would replace out the Diviner or whatever you're currently using. Or Divinia. Whatever the other troop is. Okay, we'll go and throw the one-shot out. I'll actually go for that one because it uses way more colors. And if they get enchant, it doesn't really matter. This is the one time when enchant doesn't really matter, because we could just instantly wisp every single time he gets enchant. Normally that would be a very, very annoying effect, but we don't even need to deal with it this time around. I believe he gets it whenever he takes a purple, but we can easily deal with it. Let's move that over. I don't think we're going to go for sure. Actually, yeah, we will, because we can get a kill off of this. It did not hit correctly, though, unfortunately. I was going to move that over, get our mana up, throw it down again. Actually, I'm just going to go Mountain Crusher it, just so we have another Wisp just in case. And apparently we get a skull hit off it. And there it goes. That means Wisp 2 times over didn't charm the correct one. Unfortunate. What would you replace Divine Protector with? You would replace it with Mercy. It's the only thing you would ever replace it with. You would go Mountain Crusher into Mercy. Instead of using Divine Protector with Ubistet, you would use Mercy with Mountain Crusher. You don't even need the Ubistet aspect. You just need the Infernus at that point. You can also replace out Infernus with Ubistet, though it is better to just use Infernus in that instance. And you can also just not use your hero, but the problem with not using hero, of course, is that you won't be gaining any EXP. Or at least no hero XP. You still gain XP towards your hero's base level, but you know, you don't get class XP is basically what I'm trying to say. They still get normal hero XP. They should probably clarify that whenever I say that. But yeah, everywhere it gives hero XP except for treasure hunts. Basically, what determines hero EXP is based on how many troops you have to kill. Each troop gives a static amount of EXP, and that's what determines how much EXP you get. So if you ever notice long battles where you kill like 20 troops over because they keep summoning, will give you a lot more EXP than a battle that you just kill out all 4 of them. Even if they have higher stats, they still give the exact same EXP. It's based on their how many you kill, not how high their stats are. The class EXP is just based on if you actually use the class in your team. And it's impossible to get class EXP anymore without using it, other than class events. Well, we'll go and move that over. Get a little bit of everything that we need. We'll throw down a one-shot on the really high reduction. Hello, Questor, welcome. New Mythic will be needed to raise Olkiri to level 9 on Friday. Wait, what? New Mythic will be... Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah. For a second, I thought you said Karkaroth. I was like, wait, no, we don't need it already. But yeah, that will be required. And that will be, I believe, a extra 10% tribute. And that kingdom isn't too bad of a tribute either. I believe it's pure glory and souls, so one of the better tributes out there they can possibly have. Glory, of course, being the best tribute, and Souls being the second best, and Gold being useless as far as tributes are concerned. Just because the amount that it gives relative to everything else is just so bad. It's not really that well balanced. Do you think there is a chance that the devs can chance the last trait, or change the last trait of the new Mythic? I don't know if they will be. I think they are deliberately keeping it bad, just so that they don't make the troop too overpowered. But they really shouldn't give a troop a trait that makes them worse. The reason why it hasn't been an issue with every other troop that they put that summon on is because the troop that summons generally does not use the color. Well, I guess in the case of Cabarrus it does, but more often than not, it's just making the troop weaker, not stronger. And in the case of that Mythic, when you need such a ridiculously high mana pool, it's definitely going to be the case where it makes it weaker. Yeah, it's going to be quite unfortunate. If it was something like Giant Spider, if it was a 50% chance to summon a Giant Spider whenever it got a kill, that would be insanely ridiculously good. But it's not. It's that useless red-purple spider thing, which blocks its purple as well as doesn't even do anything. It just hits everything for some AoE damage and then webs a random one, which is pretty useless because if you're using that Mythic, you perpetually have the entire team webbed, basically. And you don't need physical damage, you would need true damage with it. And even if you were using physical damage, you'd want to use targetable, high concentrated, single target physical damage. You wouldn't want to use a full AoE small one, because all you're going to be doing is just hitting all their armor. At least if you use a concentrated physical damage, you could break through their armor and lower down their HP some, and then you could use that to actually land kills with your ability. But I don't know, it just seems like the most useless summon you could ever do with it. Like, if they could just go through and imagine, like, what the worst summon you could possibly have for that troop is, they basically determined it to be that. It's like they deliberately went out of their way just to make it as horrible as possible. Alright, we'll go take those browns. Do we even explode here? There's like 4 brown on the board. I guess we shuffle and then kind of see where that brings us. There's like nothing we get out of that. I think I'm still going for it though. Okay, that was really lucky Cascade. And now we just went off a double hit. And if he somehow barriers, we can just get rid of it immediately. It's not an issue. And dead. Yes, the stream for the developers will be in 1 hour. I'm not sure if they're going over... Wow, 4 blast hours. I'm not sure what they're going to be going over today. Oh, yes, I do. They're going to be going over the new Mythic today. So if you're wondering if the new Mythic's any good, you'll be able to see Salty use it for a little while. Not sure if she'll use it properly, but you could ask her to use a certain team, and she'll probably do it. If she hears you over all the other people also asking for stuff. But, yeah, we'll be seeing exactly what she does with it. For the most part, we kind of already know. Though whatever stats hers says is probably more official than whatever the spoiler thread says. So, that'll be a nice confirmation. Because I believe the spoiler thread still is outdated as far as what it is. It still shows that as Divine, which has been confirmed like several times now. That's no longer a Divine. But, yeah, whatever her game shows it as should probably be what it releases as. Though she'll probably make some mention that it's not going to be. They sometimes change it like literally the day before. And hopefully they'll do the same thing with its trait. But we'll find out later tonight what exactly is up with that. Alright, we'll throw this down. That'll just skull poke us. We'll explode everything. And go for another little poke. Move that down. And dead. She would say, don't say that. It is a lovely spider. There's some lovely spiders in this game. That is not one of them. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, it is almost worse than the spider spawn. At least in synergizing with this mythic troop, it is worse than the spider spawn. It's Tome Spider is what it summons. This thing is what the new mythic summons at a 50% chance. It webs and places a hunter's mark on the first enemy. Then deals damage to all of them. Oh, wait, it was not even AoE? Hold up. I thought it was. My bad. Was I thinking of a different troop? Web and place hunter's mark on the first enemy. Deal 23 damage to them. If there are 13 or more purple... Oh, never mind. It doesn't even hit all enemies. It just hits the first enemy? Oh, never mind. This troop was even weaker than I thought it was. My bad. I overestimated how good or how bad this spider was. I mean, it's even worse than what I thought it was. It doesn't even hit what you need it to hit. you would want this thing to be hitting, I was confusing it with the other spider. Yeah, this doesn't even do what you would really need it to do. You would want to hit the last 2 slots with something, particularly true damage. But Tome Spider does not do that. Maybe they're revamping Tome Spider this Friday, who knows. But yeah, Tome Spider is so useless. And it doesn't even synergize with the Mythic at all. Like, it'd be fine if it was useless, but it also synergized with the Mythic in some way, shape, or form. But it doesn't even do that. Like it does with all the others. Keeper Soul summons something that gains souls, which makes sense. The War Gear, the Cabarrus, that thing summons something that has single target damage, and it too does single target damage, so they both synergize with that. And yeah, and then there's this one, which does true damage to the last 2 enemies and webs everything. And then you have a spider that just does damage to first enemy, and it's physical, it's not even true damage. The only thing that they share is that they both web. So the Mythic does so much webbing that you wouldn't need another web on top of the web, so I don't know, it's kind of redundant and useless. But basically, bottom line, just don't get its final trait. Just ignore it even has a 3rd trait until it's required for the kingdom. Though, actually, now that I think about it, it might be required for the kingdom. That'd be a huge fail if it is. But oh well. I guess we'll just trade it if that is the case, but I'm leaving it untraded for as long as possible if it's not required for kingdom upgrades. Let me actually go double check that. I don't believe it is required. Oh, no! I should have cast Wisp first. I didn't realize it just gained barrier fail. We could have just won right there. My bad. Let me go grab the mana for explosion. Now we're going to have to waste an entire turn just to go and kill it now. Oh, apparently multiple turns because that doesn't even get it either. I'll go for another explosion. Don't you dare die on us. Should have already won. Take that down, and now it dies. Wow, that took way longer than it needed to. If I would have just used Wisp there, we already won. Okay, let me go, what was I about to go check? Wait, I was just about to go check something and now I forgot what it was. Wait, is Syrup doing the stream today? Oh yeah, I think Salty may have left. They're still going to be doing the preview on the Mythic regardless, though, of who's streaming. Would War be semi-decent to use with Ubistet due to him gaining 3 attack per turn? No. You would never use War with Ubistet, ever. The War is almost never used. The only time you'd really use it is in a War plus Queen Isabel team. About the only time you ever bring it out. Also, hello, Captain. Welcome. But yeah. War is never used. If you're going to use an attack buffer for Ubistet, the best way to go about it is actually kind of the way that we're going about it right now, using something like Bard or something else that gains stats to all allies per turn. So if we were to go and say use like the normal PvP team, like let's say this team over here, or one of the normal PvP teams, like using this team, we're using Bard right now, and we're still gaining 3 attack per turn. We're gaining +1 to all yellows per turn, which does include attack. So we're gaining 1 attack to Infernus, Ubistet, and Divine Ishbala for a total of 4 attack per turn, since he's also gaining 1 himself. So we're still gaining the exact same amount of stats, or the same amount of attack that War is. We're also gaining a bunch of other stats simultaneously. So it's still giving the exact same amount of extra bonus that a War would be doing. Just a slightly different team. Hey, we got a 10 tribute. Not too bad. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to check. Zolkiri to see its power level. I remember now. Thank you, Tribute, for reminding me. Yeah, we do not need to trade it. Oh, yes, we do. No! No! We have to fully trade it. Really? Never mind. Scratch that. Time to trade the new Mythic. Fail. My bad. It is force required to fully trait next Mythic if we want to upgrade this kingdom. And we definitely want to do that because I believe that is triple tribute chance. If it was just gold, I would say, yeah, we could probably hold off. But yeah, triple tribute chance. That means more gems, more glory, more souls. Well, technically more gold technically also means that stuff too, but this is a lot more valuable than a little bit of extra gold. So unfortunately, yes, we actually do have to fully trade it. Never mind. My bad. We also have to collect the pet from Zolkiri, which is super easy. Unlock the Orb Weaver class, which is super easy. Wow, these 2 things are so ridiculously easy. The only hard part is fully trading everything in the kingdom, because that would require you to have all 16 troops and have all 3 traits on all 16 troops. And that would also require getting a new Mythic this Friday. But yeah, we have to trade it. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate, but it is force required. I'm gonna hate when we need to start doing that with weapons. A lot of weapons get a lot weaker once you start upgrading them. Oh, so hello, Derek. Welcome. Also, we'll have a redeem code soon as well for anyone interested in that. If you guys still have any other questions, let me know. We're just finishing up Invasion right now, or, you know, the current battles that we have for Invasion. And then we're probably going to go do dungeons and just mess around in PvP for the most part. Probably messing with Ubistet, because, of course, Ubistet is craftable this week, so definitely worth getting. And I showed an earlier version of the team, too. I'll go probably show it during the stream, too. I normally don't use that version of the team because it is slightly weaker, obviously. But I might as well show it this stream and use it pretty much the entirety of the stream. Just because it is a lot more accessible than what the normal team I use, which most of you probably know by now, since I use it like literally every day. But let's see, we'll go through, which one's a bigger threat? I guess this guy because it's higher mana. And then we can just skull poke this one if we really have to. So from here, I would want to take a brown or a green, neither of which are available, which is unfortunate, so let's move that over. He gets free skull right on time, so that works. Even if it wasn't free, we still would have taken it there. And get that, get our enchant so we at least get some mana over time, take skull. Oh, our need is dead apparently. Did a lot of damage. Keep forgetting, we do gain 2 or 1 to all stats on them per turn, so we do start stacking up basically 4 additional damage per turn, since we have a 4 times boost ratio on him right now due to being Legends. And I never bother getting it to Mythic. It costs like 500 more gems to do so, and I wouldn't need to. My guild automatically gets to that point every single time. Unless I'm trying for leaderboard, I wouldn't really need to go that far with it. Anyways, though, let me actually take the skull just out of safety's sake. We also get a lot more mana. I'm going to kill it before it does anything. Take out the other Archer Tower, because Archer Towers are basically the only thing that's ever going to kill us in this game mode. For the most part, there are a few other things. But if anything was to have the highest win rate against you in this game mode, it is definitely going to be Archer Tower, or Bastion, not Bastion. What are they called? Crossbow Towers. The green-yellow towers. They're really annoying for 2 reasons. One is they have a 75% chance to do true damage to you on their skull. And the other reason is they do pure concentrated single target true damage. And once you get later into the tower battles, that true damage amount is normally enough to one-shot anything on your team, or pretty close to it. Normally one-shot though, once you reach the later battles, so that's super, super ultra annoying, since the only way you could block that would be barrier. And if you don't have barrier, well, you better hope you win quickly, because you're going to have no counter towards it. We'll do that. That'll give us full mana, because we have enchant, so let's go for that immediately. Hey, we even have enchant on him, so we'll go for a double hit here. Of course, we'll kill out the crossbow tower immediately, since it's the most annoying. Don't want to have to deal with that. It also gets rid of 2 colors, so that's also convenient. Take out another one, take out the guy with enchant. Not as big of a deal since we have Wisp this time around. Still want to kill it out. And that's match. And never mind, that's literally already a match. We just get a random skull to kill it. And we didn't get any more battles, so that's the end of the line for now. And yeah, we actually get another reward from that. Nothing too useful, 4 event keys, which you'll save for either this week or next week. Personally, I would say it's better just to use this week. There is new content coming next week in the event key drop table, but there isn't anything good in Karkaroff. Like, the entirety of the kingdom is like dead content for the most part. Even the Zugoff is dead content. It's near unobtainable, and even once you obtain it, you never actually use it, other than to show people that you own it. But yeah, I would say this week is much better. There's Glitter Claw, which is fairy for all enemies, plus chance at extra turn. There's Queen Titania, which can not only 0 turn its fairy fire, but also 0 turn all of its damage if you have 13 more red on the board, which is generally heavily used with Yagway, Hellcat, Moneylender, and basically anything that could create a ridiculous amount of reds, as well as Firestorms in general. And other than that, there's also the chance of getting Suna. I wouldn't go out of your way to get Suna, but of course, as you're getting Queen Titania and Glitter Claw, there's a chance that you may pick up a Suna as well. And that's that. So, have more Invasion later this week. Let's go and, I guess, clear out dungeons real quick, just so I don't forget. And then we'll go use Budget Ubistet, I guess, for the rest of the time. Or just versions of Ubistet teams, since he is pretty relevant this week, since he is finally craftable. After 2 months of not being in the Soul Forge, he is finally craftable. Hello, Never. You don't have 2 Oak Roots. You would replace out one of them with a Dryad. And you're using a Dryad, but is there anything better? You feel like you're not doing enough damage. Let's see. You could replace out your weapon with a Mang-like weapon, or literally Mang itself, and that would probably make up the damage. And put it into second slot, particularly if you're using specifically Mang. But yeah, use either the Mang, the other version of Mang, which gives attack to everything, or even just the new weapon that came in. I don't even think would be too horrible for it. But basically just use any Mang-like weapon there, and it would probably do the trick. You wouldn't have the mana generation off a Mountain Crusher anymore, But if you have Wisp and Dryad, that would probably be enough. That would be your mana generation. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, the team in its most basic form then would basically just be the Oak Root, then Mang, then Dryad, then Wisp. The only big issue is once you lose your first 2 troops, you're basically dead. But you have enough protection between Wisp and, well, mainly Dryad, that you probably wouldn't die. Especially if you were using a hero class that gains barrier every round. That would help you stay alive a lot more as well. If you happen to be using something like Rune Priest or Titan or any of the other ones that might have it. I forget all the list of them. I think there's 3 hero classes that have it. I forget what the 3rd one is, though. Oh, never mind. I think they removed it from whatever had the 3rd one. There was another one that had it, but I believe they gave it a different tree for whatever reason. Actually, I know why they did that. They wanted to make sure that every single hero class had the plus extra magic to whatever weapon they're using. So, for example, the Rune Priest uses hammer. So they gave it stone because stone has the plus 2 or 3 magic that it gives to hammer. I believe it's plus 2. And basically every single hero class has a tree on it that gives them extra magic onto their weapon as an option. Or, you know, the weapon that you specifically get from getting 250 wins on them. Okay, so that's that. So, I guess the rest of the time, let's go do some movement stats. Also, the event objective is also to do the exact same thing. I got to kill a bunch of stuff in PvP. And we get a bunch of free stuff for doing so this week. 150 gems, which is a really hefty amount. 7 gem keys, which you use for this mythic next Friday. 4 useless copies of this troop. He's useless. And some souls, which is also pretty useless because it gives such a small amount. Anyways, let's go and use the budget Ubstet. So you guys know that team I always use, but let's go use the cheap version that basically anyone can build if you actually own the Ubstet. Mountain Crusher, or Second Goblin, or Tank. Then Goblin, then Azura, then Ubstet. And let me actually switch my banner real quick. With this particular team, we're going to want to have... you want to make sure you have a +1 brown, +1 purple. The reason I'm doing this is because we can actually set our hero as a +1 purple, which is what we're about to do. Where did I do that? Oops, that's not where I want to go. Click on this, click on class, there, and change this to arcane. And there we go. Okay, so now we have everything we need to go and function in this battle, and now we just win. Good Ubstet team without Divine Protector. Currently trying all sorts of variants, but none solid. What we're using right now is actually pretty solid, and ridiculously cheap. And also doesn't require any divines other than Ubstet himself. So yeah, we just do this, go throw Azura down, you then keep poking with the Goblin to secure your kills, and then you just kind of go from there. What do we have to move here? We'll go for all that mana. Oh, I should have threw a free Goblin. We could have actually gotten a free poke right there. I kind of wasted. But oh well, let's take out the biggest threat. So basically, you target with Goblin, whatever the biggest threat is. That would be him. You then Ubstet, it'll kill it. And then you just repeat that cycle, do it again. It's actually a really bad example of the battle just because there's almost no mana of what we normally need. I don't know why there's so few blue and brown this battle. I guess because of the red storm, but this time around. But we'll go to that. We do create a red storm every single time he gets a kill, but normally that actually helps us, not hurts us. Oh, there we go. It was a little bit of a sloppy battle, but you can kind of see the general premise of what it does. So basically, get Mountain Crusher or Azura up immediately, cast it. Then after you cast, you go and throw a Goblin down just to poke whatever you actually want to kill. So you throw it at whatever your biggest threat is on the opposing team. And then you throw another mana generator down that you likely got up from casting your first mana generator. And you just kill it that way. So we get this, throw that down. Ideally with Goblin right here, though apparently these stats are actually so low we don't even need it. Just go right for Ubstet. Then we just repeat the mana cycle again. Get his mana right back up. And repeat the same thing. Throw a Goblin if we need it. We don't even need it in this instance because his stats are so low. And you just do that. And everything in this team is super ridiculously accessible. Let's go use it against a real team. So here's a real Ubstet team. And let's go try killing it again. But yeah, Mountain Crusher is the only hard thing to get from this team, but just because you need about level 200 or 300 hero, but you probably have that. If you can afford to craft 4,000 diamonds worth of an Ubstet, you probably have Mountain Crusher by now. And if you don't, you can just use a frontline tank of any sort or Second Goblin. It makes the team slightly less tanky and slightly less effective, but it would still work. A Mountain Crusher would be the way to go with basically any hero class, whatever one you're trying to level at the time. Yeah, Goblin's a rare that you start, a common that you start with at the beginning of the game. Azura you get for free from Atlantis. And Ubstet you craft for 4,000 diamonds this week. Yeah, here's the normal Ubstet team that tends to get used quite a bit. that uses Divine Protector and everything. Well, we defeated it this morning. Normally you would be able to defeat it with this team. This team actually gets started normally quicker than it. So in this case, it looks like it's going to be slightly slower. We'll take the purple. Didn't get a surge. Quite unfortunate. Take the skull there. We really need that last little bit of brown, but it looks like we'll have it automatically next turn, so that'll be fine. He already has Infernus, so he did actually get up about the same time we did, which is unfortunate. Ooh, he actually already got the kill. Our hero had some reduction. No, it's not that big a deal. Anyways, we'll go and actually target the Ubista here. And I guess we just go for an explosion and hope that will be enough to land it on him. Just move that, move that. Take a little bit of a skull. Not really too needed for this, but there we go. We already got the Ubistet now. So we'll let him have a skull. He's just going to go for it. We explode the board, go from there. So this will double kill. Takes out those two. He still has Infernus, so we can actually lose to that. And we actually are going to lose to that. Don't you dare, Infernus. We got this. Come on. There we go. Right on time. So you have the lower stats, so I'm actually going to go and poke you. And I believe that's enough damage. I sure hope so. Oh, maybe I should have poked you. Oh, no! We might have done that wrong. Oh, if that Ubistet doesn't kill, that is so bad. That would completely be my fault. No! Okay, technically that's my fault for losing. I didn't think we'd get the skull there. Rip. Fail! But yeah, it's basically the strongest version of the team that you can use if you don't have anything to use with it. Like any of the proper divines, if you don't have Divine Ishpala or anything like that. The mid-range version would be using something like Divinia with Divine Ishpala. And of course the best would be using something like Infernus or any other variant that tends to use some of the stronger mythics with it. That's what am I doing? We're up against Firebombs, so I don't even need to do anything here. Move that over. What do we need here? Just pass our turn. And pass our turn again in a way that doesn't give him an extra turn. Of course he still gets one. And there we go. Okay, let's try this again. Round 2. He's using it slightly differently, so we should be fine. He's actually using his Ubistet up front, which might actually make us safe enough to not die here. So, let's not have a repeat of the previous battle. So right off the bat, we'd want to take brown, ideally, though we do not have it. So we'll go take all this mess. We're going to just let him have some skulls. So right here. None of the mana actually progresses us forward. We need to be getting brown, purple, or blue. Okay, actually there's some purple. But those 3 colors are the only things that really move us forward when we're first starting out on the board. We're going to let him have that skull because that's actually going to help us here. So I'm going to poke, obviously, the thing I want to kill, so do it on him. Try throwing another one on Furnace. We could even just throw it on Infernus initially if we really wanted to. Sometimes it's not enough damage, but normally it would be. So I'll go for an Azura here. Let me actually take that red first, just in case it's not full mana. So that will guarantee that we get full mana there, or pretty close to it, and we do indeed land it. We get to Ubistet right before he Ubistets, and then we just repeat the cycle again, and then we win. He'll poke us once or twice. He does indeed kill the hero. And we should get some reduction on that. That wouldn't be too bad using a Dragon Guard or something there. Not too big a deal. Go start. Let me not make the same mistake as before. Let's actually hit the first slot, because our Skull Cascade will hit the first slot as well to bring it better into kill range. So we have 2 options right now. Let's see. Is he using +9? No, he's not. So we could just go and Skull Poke him and then throw the Ubistet, because I don't believe that's enough damage. So I'm going to do that. I'll bring him into kill range and then dead. And there we go. Hey, we get 15 gems. I believe we had to do a bunch of PvP, so that's what that is from. 15 gems. Which one's easier? Well, obviously which one's easier, but which one's better to go for? We'll try for this again. We're kind of sticking to the theme of fighting Ubistet with cheaper Ubistet, so we'll see if we can keep getting away with it. Once you use this team several times, you'll kind of get used to the way that you need to use it, though. I'm still not too used to it, because obviously I very rarely use this version of this team, because there isn't a need to when you can build that team, that version of it. We'll go take a... I don't want to take that purple, that's for sure. We'll go take this blue. Unfortunately, it does not surge. We're actually behind now because of that, but we'll go throw this explosion. Get a little bit of everything except our main one that we need upgraded. Ooh, he's going to get a hit here, but it should kill. Apparently it does. Well, that's ripped. That's the only slightly bad thing about this team, too. It's actually really bad against another Ubistet just because your Ubistet is the lowest, so basically all your damage source dies the second he gets it cast with an Ubistet, which is unfortunate. But that will happen when you use the more budget version of a team against one of the best in the game. Oh yeah, Ubistet's insanely annoying. That's why everyone wanted to craft him. There's a chance he might get nerfed next patch, though. Infernus is still stronger than him, though. But Ubistet just has that really annoying mechanic where it just gets that free kill automatically. It's basically like a superior version of Wolf Garrick. It's what Wolf Garrick basically should have been, is what Ubistet is. Oh, why did I take that instead of blue? I just got like all this green instead of taking blue, which would have been way more useful. Okay, let's just keep passing our turn at this point. It's only fire bombs. Move that down, take that. Take a bunch of yellows. Grab like a little bit more mana or something there. Actually, we'll take that down, throw it right into yellows. Ubistet dead. Why do I hide your game time? I don't hide my game time. Unless that's a new feature on, is that a new feature on Steam, being able to hide your game time? I think I may have never enabled it since they, changed the format. Did they actually make that a thing when they changed the format? Where you actually have to enable showing game time now? Yeah, I'll go enable it. I didn't realize they changed it to default to not showing it. Did I max the new weapon? No. I have enough to max the new weapon, but I didn't bother going for it. The main reason being is the only benefit it really gains that is exceptionally good is enchant. And it's not worth going for just for enchant. I would sooner go and get Crescendo fully maxed before I would bother getting that one maxed. I just don't think it's going to be worth it. Yeah, we'll get a mana crusher here. That should be full mana, hopefully. And it is, and that's enough to kill it out if he doesn't try going crazy. Oh, never mind. That's not enough damage. That is unfortunate. He actually already has Infernus. We're dead. No, it's not over yet. But it's getting there. Move that over. Okay. We don't have enough to really secure a kill here. Though if we really wanted to, we could cheese it and just double goblin him and do it that way. It's normally not the way you're supposed to go about getting the kill, but it'll still do it. We're in a weird position now where Azura is actually better to cast. We'll do that. Oh, he's going to die to burn. Really? You did not just die to burn. What do we do about that? Well, we kind of have to throw that unless we want to try in a 1 in 4 chance. Well, that just made this battle really annoying. What do we need? Skull? Is it worth it? No. I think we go all in mana. Problem is, with its mass entangle and everything, I don't think we're going to actually be able to kill it now. Definitely don't want to take that yellow. Why is he even telling me to take that? We'll move that over. Thank you for grabbing that for me. We'll get 2 skulls in here. I guess we'll take this one because we actually get more damage out of it. Gets the whole chain of skulls. And now hopefully we get lucky off of this. Got a magic reduction. Would have preferred HP, but we'll work with what we get. Luckily that entangled not the one that I need to be unentangled, so that's good. Problem here is I don't have enough damage. So we either try for a skull. Wait, do you have barrier? You do. That's annoying. Azura, you need mana somehow. So we're just gonna throw this. It obviously doesn't get the kill, but don't really have anything else to do with that turn. So here we'll be able to dispel it, get our mana, and kind of go from there. So we'll do this. Get the dispel. We got an HP reduction, almost killed it, and then we can do Ubistet kill it. Oh, that wasn't the cleanest of battles, but it still came through. Yeah, it's basically what cheap Ubistet looks like. It's definitely worth using, and at a lower level range, like this is made for like below level 500 level range, or even below level 1000 possibly. This is like the you have nothing to use with Ubistet team. So here's a Ubistet team that will function. It's the cheapest team I'm aware of that functions with Ubistet. Anyways, let's actually switch back to a real Ubistet team. With all the divines, pretty much. You guys know what it is though, you see it as like 90% of the battles we fight. Hey, Pet Gnome! I don't believe we currently have one active, so we'll go for that. I'm not going to bother hitting him, though. We'll go for the Ubistet, because he's the most annoying. Get that down immediately. And then we should repeat that again. A lot of cascades, apparently. And then we should Ubistet kill it. He'll just do his thing. End your turn, and dead. So much quicker. There we go. And we get a bunny. It's not really that useful, but... one interesting thing about Bunny, though, is it is active literally every battle you do. It's giving you extra blue hero mastery. So, yeah, that's always going to be applicable. It might only be like a 0.01% extra surge chance on blue, but it's still nonetheless present in every battle you do. I don't know why they only added it for blue, though. There's no other color that has it, only blue. It's kind of weird. You kind of would have expected that they would have added it to all 6 colors initially, but they didn't. Really weird that they only added it to 1. Like, it would have made sense if they didn't add it to any of the 6, but they only added it to blue and no other one yet. It's weird. Anyways, let me go and do the pet, because that's a lot of EXP. Not to mention we get the pet itself, so definitely want that. Oh yes, where's the code? Let me go do the code. We did get a pet gnome, so that's actually the perfect time to do it. Normally I give it out whenever we get a gnome, and we did just get a gnome, so yeah, let me go do it right now. Let me just clear out this battle real quick. Should die in like 1 shot, or 2 apparently. And we'll throw the thing at it, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let me go give out the code real quick. Let me go find one that is relevant. Actually, I don't think any of them are relevant. Let me see what they are. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this tab right here. Wrong tab? Or is it the right tab? Nope, right tab. Okay. 1 moment. Let's see. Any of these are relevant? Oh no! We already used the bunny bun code. That's funny. One of the codes was bunny bun. Actually, the most recent one we gave out was bunny bun. And I already used it on Saturday. That'd have been the perfect code to give out when we get a bunny. Oh well. Let's see. Let's just go with a random one, I guess. Let's just go with the next one down the line, which is this one. Let's see. Does this still work? Let me mark it. Let me save it. Copy it. Save. Put this into my thing, or into the code section. Boom. Boom. Get rid of the space. Redeem. And success. Okay. It is indeed still working. So let me go and copy paste this into chat. Put that right there. Boom. And there you guys go. There is the redeem code for the, well, this is a redeem code. You just go copy paste that, put it on gemsofwar.com underneath the game code section, or simply go and copy paste it there, either or. And your invite code can be found underneath your settings menu. It's so hot in here for right now. I don't know why. I think the AC went off. It keeps doing that because of the thunderstorm that's been around. It ended up losing electricity earlier too, but it keeps making my AC go off, so it's like so hot in here right now. Anyways, what was I saying? Yes, invite code. You can find it underneath your settings menu right here. Whatever your game says there is what you put in. The redeem code can be found in chat. Just copy paste that into that website, gemsofwar.com underneath the game code section, or simply click the link, and it'll give you the same reward as always. 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, and 2,500 gold. Let's see what we get from that 1 gem key real quick. Anything good? And nope. And for the most part, you'd actually want to save those gem keys for this Friday and probably attempt for the new mythic. That's what I'll be using this gigantic stack for. We should be able to get it in that many. 1,509 keys. I believe that's a little excess. Normally it takes about 1,000, give or take a few hundred. But yeah, hopefully we'll get really lucky again. We've actually gotten really lucky with the last several mythics, like the last 2 or so. It's one of the reasons why we have so many keys. And because content has been coming out a little bit slower, particularly New Kingdoms. I believe it's been like, what, 2.5 months now since New Kingdom? Most recent Kingdom was when they added Doom Skulls with the Drock Zoom. So it's been a while. Because Doom Skulls has been out for a while now. Like what, 3 months, 4 months? Like at least 3 months, right? It's been quite a decent amount of time. It's been such a long time that it went from being the most meta team in the entire game to being almost dead content. Not really dead content, but you know, used a lot less than what it is now. So it's been out a while if it has gone through that whole process of being super OP and then nerfed and then kind of stagnant. Anyways, let's go back to PvP. I think we even reached level 96. How close are we on that? We should be like right on top of it if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, I need to go back to the pet battle too before I forget to do it. What am I looking for? I'm looking for EXP. Oh yeah, we're pretty much right on top of it. Once we finish the pet, we just have several more little PvP battles. Okay, let me go into... Where am I going? Go to pet. Go in there, go in there. Did I do dungeons yet? Yeah, I did. So let's go in there. Fights, and we still have 7 more battles left. First few being ridiculously easy, of course. And no problem for the code, everyone. If you guys still have any other questions or anything, let me know. We'll be streaming for about another 15 minutes or so. I'm going to be ending a little bit sooner before Salty stream just because I like to get food and stuff just beforehand. Just so I don't miss anything in case she says something spoiler related. Of course, I want to report back on anything that she might say. Yeah, Salty will be streaming in about 30 minutes, assuming she starts on time. Or sometime in the next hour if she doesn't start on time, but likely in 30 minutes. And I'll be heading over there, and I can also answer your guys' questions there. Of course, she could answer some of your questions if you have anything about the development task or anything like that. Also, it might not actually be Salty streaming. I forgot. Some people were mentioning that, or I think she even mentioned that she'd be away this week. And it'll probably be Syrup instead. But regardless, they're showing the new Mythic regardless of who's streaming. So Doesn't really matter who's streaming. It's still going to be showing the same thing, pretty much. Okay, move the Brown over. Oops, that double kill. And let's go for the kill there. Do yourself an Infernus, and that'll be that. Let's go for a little bit of a poke. And you better not get a free kill off that Skylight. It won't really matter. That'd be very annoying. Nonetheless. Actually, at lower level range, she pretty much always one-shots you just because, not because she has that 25% chance, but just because her damage is relatively high with her single target. Actually, it's not really too high, but once it gets to the later battles, it definitely is some concentrated damage, that's for sure. I can just get you out of nowhere. I feel like whenever I was doing all my lower level account, that would just always kill me, because I wouldn't bother barriering against them. But generally, that is the easiest way to kind of deal with them earlier on in the game. Barrier spam, Devour spam, or Entangle plus Mana Drain spam. And Cockroaches can do 2 of those. Dragonian Monk can do 1 of the others while also mana generating for you. And the only other thing then you need is Devour, which is either a Great Maul or a Bullet, or really anything that has a decent % chance of devouring. You have laying around. Okay, we'll take the Skull there. Grab a poke, and then we super step if I can actually click. Yeah, I'm around 5,200 something hours. There are people with over 10,000 hours in this game. Though technically, if you count literally everything I've ever done in this game, if you count forum time and video time and just everything, it probably is very close to 10,000 hours. But yes, as far as actual time I've been in the game actually playing, it's been about like 5,300. Okay, we'll go and oops, set that down. Skull Storm going on from the Skyla, actually. I was actually expecting... Oh, no. Stream, come back! Stream died for a second. Oh, sorry about that, yeah. There's a thunderstorm, as I mentioned, so I'm actually surprised my connection hasn't, like, completely gone off. There's a really bad storm out, so... It's been like that all day. It's been like that for actually, like, weeks now, but it does it in, like, little flashes where it does it for, like, an hour or two, and then goes away for, like, 12 hours, and then, like, comes back out of nowhere. It's really weird, but it's been doing that. But if I randomly come off and don't come back, it's probably because of that. Yeah, just click refresh. It should be fine now. Okay, we'll go and pick that over. Go throw an Infernus down. Get a nice Uber steps. Clear out the Skyla, if I can click it. And then just throw an Infernus at it, and now we just wipe it with whatever. At this point, we can even kill it with Skull. Do I have a go-to team to use when you get a daily task for using 4 troops from 1 kingdom? What do you mean, have a go-to team? It'd be impossible to have a go-to team for that, because you would need however mmany kingdoms there are. There's 30-something different teams you would use for that. Because if you have to use 4 from a kingdom, you would need to have 1 for every single kingdom. I could maybe eventually do like a team build for literally every task. The only big issue with that is that's like 40 or 50 teams. Because of how many requirements there are for... Actually, probably even more than that. But there's a ridiculously high amount of teams. The most basic way to describe it is use Dragon Soul with 3 troops for every single one that tells you to use 3. And for everything else, use the highest AoE troop that you have in the kingdom. Whatever just hits all enemies, or multiple enemies. And use that with as many mana links and as many mana generators from the kingdom as possible. And just run it in like a first challenge of any kingdom or just any easy battle. And go from there. If that's not enough damage, I'm still going for it. So yeah, if I was to actually show teams for literally all of it, it actually probably is somewhere around 100 different teams you would need. And to use best in slot for all of it, it would require, I think, like 300 different troops or so. But the basic is just Dragon Soul into any 3, and any AoE into a bunch of links. This is the whole strategy that you run for basically every single one. So for example, right now I have a Pride Lands where I need to use 3 unique troops from Pride Lands. So basically the strategy to do this is go and find a team I want to go replace. So we'll just pick any of them that I want to go replace. Probably the one that I did the Susif thing for earlier today. So let me go do that if this would ever load. So we'll go replace this out, rename it to suggested team. There we go. And let me just go replace this with the team we need. So we need to use Pride Lands. So we go to Dragon Soul, put our Dragon Soul in first slot. We now go to Pride Lands and just go under whatever category I told you to go under. And if it was a troop typing, you just go under troop typing area. Go to Pride Lands. Now we type in the word link. And every single one that has a red or purple link, we just instantly put into our team. So you have blue, you have red, you put you in, you have brown, and you have... Why do you show link? Oh, because you're a lynx, I guess. But the only one we currently have is Shadow Hunter. So everything else from this kingdom is useless. Then we just double check for mana generators and see if there are any. And if there are no mana generators, we then check for basically AoEs that we can use that don't have any mana conflict. And if that doesn't exist, then, well, we're kind of out of luck. But there actually is one. We could use Behemoth. And that's basically it. And now that we're using Behemoth, we can now go use a +1 blue for that. And then boom. And that's basically the strategy for that. Basically, just put as many links into your team. Use a single or double AoE like that. Or just use all-in mana generation. And that's how you build essentially every single one of them. And of course, just use whatever you have. Main thing that you need is Dragon Soul, which was available last week. You can do it without Dragon Soul. It's just a lot quicker with Dragon Soul. And there are plenty of other things. Like, we could literally just be using Behemoth for the same thing. But the problem with that is we don't gain souls from that. And Dragon Soul just makes it more worth your while. And you just go to any first challenge, like first challenge of any field, which has the lowest durability. Which is why you normally see me using this one. Just because it's the easiest to kill. And you just go from there. So we'll take a purple over. Obviously rush Dragon Soul immediately for any AoE. Or your mana generator. Any of them. It depends which one you really want to go for. Depends on your team. And then we just go for Dragon Soul again. And if we didn't have Dragon Soul, we'd go for Behemoth, and I would also kill it out. And then you just keep repeating that until you win. Or until you win as many as you need, of course. And we need to do 7 more of them. Yeah, that's basically the whole strategy with dailies. We should probably do a video on it eventually. I haven't actually currently, just because I don't know where a current list of literally every task is. I don't know if there's been one publicly posted anywhere yet. And I wouldn't want to know how to search the files for it. If anyone does have that information, feel free to show that somewhere. I don't think any spoiler thread or anywhere actually currently has that information. Like literally every task in the game. And if I was to do a video on it, I would want to have that resource available so I could direct people to it. Because I'm not even fully certain what every task is. I generally know what the tasks are, and I could go over strategy for it, which is basically what the video would be anyways. But I'd still kind of want to have a master list just to kind of have it out there. Okay, let's throw a Behemoth at it. That's already enough damage to just wipe the entire team. Don't even need Dragon Soul in this case. And down it goes. Actually, it might even just be more realistic to just use our hero here, ditch the Dragon Soul, and just go rush Behemoth. We would get no souls for it, but we'd one-shot them every single time. So that's another strategy that you could be doing too, but I generally like using the Dragon Soul for some souls, because why not? It's just pretty convenient to do. Okay, what else do we need to move around? Let's take that over. He just pokes us once. At this point, it looks like we just rush Behemoth because it seems to be going that direction anyways. Come on, board, what are you doing? Giving us like nothing we need. We'll throw our Dragon Soul into Behemoth at this point. That'll be way more than enough damage. And dead. Use Sunbird and the other 3 for the kingdom. That would work too. It's basically the same thing like using Dragon Soul. I like having the Dragon Soul for the souls though, is the main thing. But you can easily go use Sunbird, get it up in 2 turn and go from there. Dragon Soul you actually can 2 turn if you were to have enough links. This particular kingdom does not, but there are plenty of kingdoms that do have enough. Or when it tells you to do a certain thing. What's also pretty nice to use if you ever get the opportunity to is if you have Queen Aurora fully traded and it gives you something that tells you that you can actually use it, you definitely should be, because it makes it even easier to go in 2-turn Dragon Soul or 2-turn Sunbird or 2-turn literally anything you're using as your way to actually kill out the enemy team. And there we go, just throw another one down. Yeah, with Dragon Soul, we're getting about, how many souls do we get? We're getting, on normal difficulty, 95 souls. So on average, I would say about 50 souls per battle, because we don't always get a double cast. Use Sunbird or Bombot? Bombot, I guess, could work if you're not blocking it. You wouldn't want it in first slot, though, or else it would lose its damage. I would think at that point you'd be better off just sticking with Sunbird. Because the big issue with Bombot 2 is, oh, never mind, it wouldn't be applicable in challenges, or at least not this challenge. But if you're doing it more like an Explorer, the issue that would come up is, of course, them reviving. But yeah, that wouldn't actually be an issue in this area. I'm still waiting until they do a hero weapon, I'll be able to do it. That would make this so much more convenient than using a Dragon Soul or literally anything else there, because we'd be able to gain hero HP while doing it. The problem is nothing hero related is quick enough. The closest you can really do is, I believe a 15 or 16 mana cost AoE. I believe Black Manacle is technically the quickest thing you can use on a hero. That would do basically the same thing Dragon Soul would, or that a Behemoth would, or anything like that, where you full AoE single shot the entire enemy team. The only problem with that is it's 15 mana, and I guess actually that's not too big a deal. The only real issue is that you're not getting any souls, I guess. But it would take the same amount of time as a Dragon Soul, basically. Maybe even shorter, since you could use a hero class specifically for it. Though you'd have to be using a hero class that would either have +1 purple, or +1 brown, or a combination of both. Or anything that would assist into it. There's a lot of ways you can go about doing it. It really just depends. Is your shop weapon worth getting? Oh yeah, what is your shop weapon this week? I didn't bother checking it. I normally don't go over it because it's a money-related thing. Oh no, it's not. It's just Fey Wands. Fey Wand does like nothing, doesn't it? It deals damage randomly split amongst enemies, boosted by enemies with Fairy Fire. Yeah, this is a dead content weapon. There's no need to ever use this weapon, ever. I believe its perks are pretty bad too. So yeah, you can just ignore that, unless you want it for just collection purposes, in which case get it. But as far as its actual usefulness, you would never actually use this weapon. Though it would help in Kingdom upgrading, I guess. There are very few Bright Forest upgrades. That's actually going to be annoying once we start getting closer to it. I'm not worrying about it yet, because we're nowhere near it, because we still need quite a bit more troops to come out. But we need to fully upgrade 2 Bright Forest weapons. There's one big issue with that, though. If we go to Bright Forest weapons... that means we're required to fully upgrade a legendary weapon, or Dawnbringer, which is not happening anytime soon. But yeah, I guess the best 2 would be Eagle Eye and Summer's Fury, I believe, would be the best combination. Summer's Fury, not a weapon I use much, like at all, but I believe it got okay perks. No, it didn't. It got that Random Destroy. Why did they have to give it that? That makes it worse. You could have made this such a good weapon. It burns and Fairy Fires the first enemy, which is kind of funny. But, yeah, Fey Wand I don't think gets anything good. Fire Scatter, which isn't that good. Give 1 mana to all allies, which could be good, but it depends on the weapon. In this case, it's not that good. Fairy Fire to first enemy. I feel like everything from this kingdom has Fairy Fire on it. And then create a green gem, which is normally going to backfire on you, so horrible weapon. Eagle Eye, well, you'd obviously do this one. It's the lowest one. Oh, it actually Hunter's Marks all enemies. Oh, I didn't realize that was a what's it called? The one brown weapon. Prey Seeker. I didn't realize a weapon other than Prey Seeker actually did that. But yeah, this weapon does. That's pretty cool. Creates a Leaf Storm, 1 magic. That's actually not too bad for an epic weapon. It's a little bit of a weird mana cost at 11. I believe Fan was useless though. Cleanse all allies, give them 21 life, and remove all blue gems. That was added when like blues were needed as a counter. The benefits aren't bad other than create 1 green gem. Why does everything want to create 1 green gem in this kingdom? And this one gains enchant, which is cool, but the rest of its perks aren't really that worth it. If it had 1 board control perk, like Exploded Green or something, it would actually be really good, but it doesn't. And of course, Dawnbringer could be okay to upgrade. Whatever new mythic weapon comes into the game will probably be better. Main reason I'm not putting in any into this yet is, for one, we're not even 1/4 the way there, basically. But other than that, there's a good chance whatever the new mythic weapon is that comes into the game, not the fake ones that come in through hero classes, but I mean like a new legitimate 3 mana cost, or 3 mana cost, could you imagine? A 3 mana color mythic weapon. Once another one of those come out, there's almost a guarantee, near 100% chance, that whatever perks that new mythic weapon has, that's going to be coming out, I have no clue when, maybe next month, maybe 2 months, probably by the end of this year, there's a really high probability that weapon will have better effects than Dawnbringer, because Dawnbringer has some of the worst effects of any weapon, so they can't really make it much worse than that. So as long as the other weapon's like decent, it's probably going to have better perks. Not that Dawnbringer's bad, it's just that the perks aren't really that needed on it. It's still just as good with or without the perks. So no point in really spending that many precious resources on it. But yeah, this could be really annoying to do once it comes time, unless they add another weapon to the kingdom. Hello, Corprice. Hello, Mr. Anderson. And if you guys still have any other questions, let me know if I missed anything. Banner for the team, Mercy and Furnace, Ubistet, Divine, Ishbala, +2 yellow. Always +2 yellow. Like 100% of the time you go +2 yellow when it comes to those kind of teams. If you're using a Mercy, there is almost no instance where you would not use a +2 yellow banner. It's just always required, just because you gain so much mana out of nowhere from first turn or after a few turns. Ideally first turn, but of course the starting board doesn't always like to be nice. But anyways, guys, does anyone else have any other questions you wanted to mention or anything I may have skipped or anything? Otherwise, I'll probably be heading off for now. Let me actually go bring up the stream, though. I might be done, but the developers are going to be streaming right after this. They stream every Monday, right after us, pretty much, in 15 minutes from now, every Monday. So I'm going to go bring up their page and go send all of you guys over there. I don't know if Salty's streaming today. I believe it's going to be Syrup or someone. But regardless, they'll be going over the new Mythic that's coming out this Friday, so we'll get to see a little bit of a preview of that. But anyways, you can do that over there. Twitch.tv/Infinity+2 is their official channel, and they'll be streaming there in hopefully 15 minutes, assuming they start on time. Other than that, yes, please leave a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed the video. It really helps out a lot and supports the channel. Other than that, let's see, what was this question? You made it to level 1,105. Very nice on console. How goes the battles easy? I'm not sure about that question, but it starts taking more EXP the higher your level gets. But at that level range, battles should start getting kind of easy. Well, it'll get easy and hard. It'll get easy because you have more stuff to use, but it'll get hard because pretty much every single person around you is using the strongest possible teams in the entire game. So it can get frustrating sometimes because the meta will generally shift to whatever the most ridiculously overpowered thing in the game is. And right now, that's basically 4 times Divine, Mass Mana Drain, and some version of Dragon Team probably. But it's running rampant, like you can see. Like, it's almost like a 50% chance we're going to see like some kind of team like this almost every single time we click on a team, just because there's not much stronger than it at the moment. There are a few, but generally everyone kind of gravitates towards that. But yeah, that tends to be a bit of an issue with late game. They are looking to address that in the future. There's actually going to be a patch probably this year that's going to be addressing PvP and variety in it, and basically the whole problem that it has where the whole meta just shifts to like 3 ridiculously overpowered teams. But that's going to be changing sometime in the near future, probably this year. But at the moment, yeah, it can get somewhat annoying at a higher level range doing the battles. But just do 1 trophies and true trophies when you see easier ones, and that kind of basically repicks it for you without having to waste gems on it. Because as a higher level player, you can easily take out like these easier ones. Like if we go check our 1 trophy right here, it is ridiculously easy to go and take that out. Because its stats are lower, the team synergy is generally slightly worse. Not because they're worse at building teams, just because they generally don't have as much to build with. Let's see. The invasion battles? Oh, yes. That was in regard to the title. Yes, the invasion battles are ridiculously easy this week because the green-yellow troop that we get tears through all their armor and then does damage to them. And is basically enough to one-shot a good majority of the lower-level invasions. I'm pretty sure it reaches a point where it doesn't one-shot it, but it keeps one-shotting them for a longer duration than has ever been possible invasions before. And it's just ridiculously easy to head through them this week, especially if you have enough to actually use 2 of them on your team. You just use 2 of them with a Mountain Crusher followed by a Wisp, and you just use the Wisp to get rid of their barrier and their enchant, and you just throw Mountain Crusher down on any hero class. Get that down, get them their mana, repeat the cycle, and just win off invasions. It's one of the easier weeks to do it. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for coming down. As I mentioned, go say hi to Salty or Syrup, whoever's on stream, and they'll be streaming in about 10 minutes from now. I'll be there as well if you guys want to ask me anything over the next hour or so. They normally stream for about an hour as well. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming down. We'll be back on this channel 1 hour from, or 1 hour from now. I mean, 1 hour prior to now tomorrow, as we are every single day on this channel on YouTube. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow doing invasions. This Wednesday, we'll be having new pets, or not new pet. We'll have the yellow Guild War pet. This Wednesday, new yellow pet. Thursday, Archer class. Friday, new Mythic. And this entire weekend, including Friday, we will have the Treasure Gnome event. So we'll be grinding that like crazy. And we'll probably make PvP leaderboard and just mess around with that. No raid phrase? No. I haven't really been sending raid phrases anymore. They seem to pretty much just ignore it, so I just kind of stopped. And it just kind of spams the chat too much when it first comes in. But anyways, guys, thanks for coming down. I'll see you later. And enjoy the week. And best of luck if you're opening any keys at any point this week. Goodbye, everyone.